Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiera with Home Slice Adulting coming to you guys with my review for Love and Hip Hop Season 5, Episode 2, the Hollywood version, which is titled The Bro Code. For those of you who cannot tell, I'm a little bit under the weather. So my energy level is like down here. Um, I'm a little warm. I think I have a fever. I'm just not really feeling it today, but because I am dedicated to my YouTube channel and to my subscribers, I'm here. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, I want to thank my subscribers and soon to be subscribers for sticking around and clicking on this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, click on that little bell so that you can be notified when I post new content. So let's just get into it. And also, if you hear any construction noises in the background, they're repaving the parking lot in my apartment. And yeah, they're doing that right next to my building. So forgive me if you all can hear any of that construction. But moving on, we see Lyrica Brooke and Pregnant Princess at one of Lyrica's performances. She's performing the song Rent, and it actually sounds pretty good. Brooke says that the love triangle between her, Marcus, and Booby is officially over, but she and Marcus are still in a complicated place. I will say, Brooke Valentine's hair looks fabulous in the confessional. She's a very pretty woman. But moving on, Princess is being harassed by the Norwood ladies regarding her Instagram posts. Now, look, my in laws can't really check me about anything, but if Ray J is your husband, you shouldn't have to post on social media to try to get his attention. Like, y'all live in the same house, you have his phone number. What is it about this situation that you can't talk to him directly and that you have to post tweets on Instagram or post something on Instagram? It just doesn't make any sense. But moving on, Brooke has a ring on her finger, so let her tell it. Marcus brought the ring over to Brooke's house in Houston, and Brooke basically stole the ring because she's expecting them to get married anyway. So she's claiming an engagement even though Marcus has not officially proposed to her or taken the ring back. And it's like, WTF? Who does that? Absolutely, who does that? I don't get that. I don't get it. That's very weird to me. But anyways, let's see. I love Brooke Valentine. I think she's beautiful. I think that she is talented, but I cannot support her on this particular issue. I feel like she is very dramatic, and I think that her focus is in the wrong place. Where is your music, Brooke? Stop chasing behind Marcus and, get you some music out. Now, Princess tells us that she deleted their pictures together on Instagram, and Lyrica tells them about the snafu that she had with K Michelle and mentions that K Michelle said that Lyrica tried to sleep with Safari. Now, Brooke adds to the mess by stating that she has witnessed them flirting when they did a Facebook Live interview together. Now, here comes Ray J. After Ray J ran and told his mama that she's posting mean things on Instagram about me, Brandy and Sonia started going back and forth with Princess. And that's the problem. Like, when you go to other family members about your marital issues, it's problematic. And it's even more problematic when you're in a family that is so involved in each other's lives and is in the public eye. Because Brandy and Brandy's mother, Sonia, are so consumed with image that they feel it's necessary to get involved over a post that's just a subliminal tweet. I mean, like I said, if Ray J was cheating is on brand for him. You see what I'm saying? Like, that is something that we would say, okay, Ray J probably is a cheater based on what we know about him. So I feel like it didn't hurt or help his brand in any type of way. And I think that they're too involved in their marital life. I feel like they need to focus their energy on shoring up their marriage as opposed to telling their friends and family and everybody on Instagram what's going on in their marriage. And instead of talking to each other, they talk to other people, and it just makes things worse. But moving on, Princess feels like Ray J's not telling his family the whole story and that they should apologize to her. Now, on certain issues, I do feel like Princess needs to grow up. I definitely feel like Ray J needs to grow up, and I feel like they are both two childish people about to have a child, which is odd. Well, not necessarily odd because people do it all the time. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I understand that Princess is going through a stressful time. It's her first pregnancy, and she is married into a family of women that do not like her. And I have some firsthand experience in witnessing something like that going on. And I know that it's a very stressful and difficult situation to be married into a family that really does not like you. And it's a challenge. And in that way, I feel for Princess, but that still doesn't mean that I condone her, actions. But moving on, we see A1 and Marcus Black. They're in the studio. A1 and Lyrica are officially beefing with K Michelle on, social media. But what's new? K Michelle is almost always beefing with somebody on social media. So moving on. Marcus Black walks in. He basically says that he's kind of moved on past the love triangle thing, but I took it to mean that he's moved past even Brooke. He says that Brooke took the ring, and the way he said it was he felt like marriage was a very long way off, and instead of Brooke being patient and waiting for him to actually propose and do it the right way, she just took the ring. So she told him to sow his royal oats, and he has been doing just that. And unfortunately, he's been sowing his royal oats with people who he's actually interested in having a relationship with. So that wasn't part of the agreement, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. So, A1 and Marcus are talking about, A1's run-in with K Michelle, and he mentions how K Michelle said that Safari and Lyrica might have hooked up or tried to hook up, but Marcus isn't surprised. He tells A1 that he heard from Brooke that the two of them were flirting during that Facebook Live interview, and from what I saw of the little clip, the flirting was very minimal. But Brooke also says that she caught Lyrica texting Safari and, sniggling and giggling and all that kind of stuff. So A1 leaves right away to confront Lyrica because this is the second time that he's heard from somebody that something like this is going on. So Bridget Kelly and Kimberly are sitting down at a spa or something like that. And Bridget Kelly stays out of it with the Lyrica rumors, but she feels like the OK Michelle has found her way back, and she definitely has. But she tells K Michelle that, she gave her number to Paris, and she wants them to mend their friendship. Interestingly enough, Kimberly does mention that Paris is an Uber thief, so there is some validity to Paris's version of events. Now, what K Michelle says is that Paris made it seem like a one-time, let Paris tell it the way she said it. It was a one-time $50 Uber charge. But according to Kimberly, Paris had been using her Uber account on Kimberly's card for like some weekends in a row to the point where her card was declined due to fraudulent activity. Paris really minimized her involvement. However, Kimberly is running low on friends now because, of her attitude. And she misses Paris, and she agrees to call Paris. Now, here's the thing. I've seen a lot of people comparing K Michelle to Cardi B. And they say that Cardi B and K Michelle have the same attitude, but Cardi B gets away with it because of colorism or racism. And I don't see it that way. From what we know about Cardi B, yes, she has had some fights with people, but K Michelle is different. K Michelle goes after you and goes for the jugular, and she destroys relationships with people who might actually be able to help her. She is very self-sabotaging, and I don't see that in Cardi B. I see something in K Michelle that's more like a little bit self-destructive, as opposed to Cardi B, who's just, loud and out there and in your face and that type of thing. I don't feel like they have similar personalities besides both kind of being loud. But Kimberly has this self-destructive streak. And that's the difference to me. But moving on, we see Apple watching Lyrica, and Apple has, slid into Lyrica's DMs to apologize about the whole situation that happened at Solo Lucci's party. And she talks about how, she's a stripper and she was once prostituting herself, and now she's trying to parlay her stripper career into a rapping career so that she can, get up out the hood and, improve herself. Now here comes A1. And Lyrica was wearing some pants that made it look like her butt was out. It was weird. But anyways, Apple gets out of there as soon as A1 comes in. And I will say this, Apple knows how to hightail it when she's not in the right place at the right time. So A1 gets right to it and asks, what's your involvement with Safaree? And Lyrica immediately gives off this guilty vibe and eventually hands A1 the phone when he asks to see it. All the texts from Safaree have been deleted, and that is something that is a very guilty move. Now, next thing you know, Lyrica is throwing drinks, and she's saying that she's going to fight K Michelle on site, and that she doesn't want the cameras in her face, and she doesn't want to listen to the producer. She's throwing like a full-blown toddler temper tantrum. So Lyrica finally returns to continue the discussion with A1, but A1 knows what's up. Her reaction, the fact that she's so defensive, the fact that she's so loud and so upset with K Michelle tells us that there is some truth to it. And then she's mad at Brooke for snitching. So Lyrica says she's going to stay at her mama's house. But moving on, we see Donatella. I forgot about her. I didn't care about seeing her again, but she's hosting a women's empowerment party. Everybody's hosting those these days. But moving on, we see Paris, Brooke, and Princess. Paris is nervous about seeing K Michelle, and I guess understandably so. Princess tells them about the threats that Brandy is texting her, saying that Princess is scared, and Paris cracked me up when she said Cinderella said that. Last week she called her Moesha, and now she's calling her Cinderella. That's funny to me. Okay, moving on. Brooke sees Marcus, and Brooke starts to look silly yet again when Stassi pulls up, and Stassi is not Marcus's assistant. His boo thing. He's booed up, and so Marcus doesn't want Brooke anymore, in my opinion, because Brooke made the mistake of basically giving him a hall pass. Marcus doesn't feel bad because Brooke basically gave him permission to date around. I feel like if you intend on marrying a guy, whether you're celibate or not, you don't give him license to be with other people lest something like this, happens to you. So Brooke is calm, and she's recounting all of the holidays that they spent together. And of course, this is news to Stassi. And for once, Brooke sees that Stassi doesn't deserve her wrath and asks to have a private conversation with him. Now, Brooke's intentions when it came to Marcus sowing his royal oats is for him to have a physical relationship with other women, since he couldn't have that with Brooke. But when it came time for him to actually want companionship, then he would spend time with Brooke. And unfortunately, the lines got blurred, and Marcus got himself a girlfriend. But Marcus messes up when Stassi tries to pull him away, but Marcus is grabbing on Brooke's butt, and Stassi was not happy about that. This very much so reminded me of the situation when Mimi, Stevie J, and Jocelyn were in therapy on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, if y'all remember that particular scene. Brooke brings up the ring that she stole. Stassi is unhappy, and so is Marcus. Now, next we see A1, who has a promo video, and Apple is there, and Ray J shows up as well. Apple Watts does not have bars for A1 when he asks for them, which is a problem, but she quickly excuses herself when Ray J and A1 start talking about both of their marital issues. Now, A1 told Ray J that he went to K. Michelle's house to smooth things over. And it made me laugh because he definitely did not go over there to smooth things over. He went over there to try and check her, okay? But A1 mentions the rumors, and Ray J tells him that Safaree will be in town later, but Ray J doesn't believe that Safaree would do that because, you know, they all got their sperm tested together. And it's like, people have a very warped sense of friendship. If you and I have gone to a few parties together or done a few cool things together, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're friends. We're just like close associates. Are Safaree, A1, and Ray J really all that cool, or are they just three guys that hang out and have a good time together? I don't know. But moving on, we see Paris and K. Michelle. Now, this is where things get confusing. K. Michelle said that her card was declined due to the fraudulent activity that Paris had put on her credit card, which was through Uber. Now, K. Michelle said it was not about the amount of money, it was about the principle. So basically it was $50. And K. Michelle, this is what I'm talking about, K. Michelle having a self-destructive streak. For $50, if there was I would be upset that she caused a problem with my card and my card had to be declined. The issue with it is that if the amount was only $50, all you had to do was say, hey, you charged my card for an Uber car, and my credit card company thought that it was fraudulent and they declined my card. I'm going to get the credit card situation straightened out, but I need you to reimburse me my $50, and I need you to make sure that my credit card is no longer connected to your Uber account, and make sure nothing like this ever happens again, because it's literally $50. It's something that, you know, her best friend easily could have reimbursed her for. But for K. Michelle to get on national TV and to call the girl a thief and to basically, you know, put a damper on the girl's future over $50 is not right. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the difference between K. Michelle and Cardi B. K. Michelle ruined a friendship with her best friend over $50. The same way that she ruined a professional relationship with Lyrica over what Lyrica probably could have been able to reimburse her for those overage charges. So I understand why K. Michelle was upset, but when she gets upset, she goes from being Kimberly to K. Michelle in like 2 seconds. So she just has to learn how to calm down and not to let that anger get the best of her. But overall, the whole situation was blown out of proportion. And they both apologized to each other for the way the incident made both of them feel. And it looks like their relationship is on the mend, which is great. Moving on, we see the baby shower / gender reveal. And a lot of stuff went on here, unfortunately. So Ray J acknowledges that the only contribution he made to this gender reveal was getting Princess pregnant. And that's something, I don't know, that's something I don't like. Historically, men have not been invited to baby showers and things along those lines. But not only do you leave your wife alone for 7 days, she has to plan this thing herself. Y'all's relationship isn't right. She's got your mom and your sister breathing down her neck. And the only thing you do is show up. You made no contribution. It may be paid for, you know, the venue or whatever. So that's problematic. I don't think Ray J is being a very good husband to Princess at the moment. But moving on, Ray opens the floor for Princess so that she can apologize, and that absolutely does not happen. Stand your ground, Princess. They're having a little girl, and I've seen a picture or two of her, and she's very beautiful. But did y'all see how Ray J walked up and hugged his mommy like he was 4 years old? Hey, mommy. Like... He was like a little baby. But Ray J talks about how important it is that they're all, supposed to be on the same page. And he lies, claiming that Princess is ready to, issue a public apology. And Princess laughs because that's definitely not the case. I think that he felt that he would ambush her into actually apologizing by throwing his wife under the bus, which is not a very, husbandly thing to do. Okay. But moving on, um, Sonia speaks up, and Princess just really doesn't back down. Now, at one point, Brandy is not happy about Princess's interaction with Sonia because Brandy feels that um, Princess is being disrespectful. Now, Sonia says that Princess was not raised to have that certain respect for her elders. And but I get both sides. I feel as if Sonia is very mean. I feel like she has a vendetta against Princess. And I feel as if Princess's anger could somewhat be warranted. I do feel like at some point, one of them has to be the bigger person and just let all of the BS go. Um, so in that way, I feel like there's some pettiness involved. But I mean, Princess is probably over it dealing with Ray J's mama with, her boob in his mouth all the time. So I get it. Excuse me, y'all. I'm real sick. Moving on. Sonia said at one point she lost the baby and she does not want Princess to have any stress, but Princess don't want to deal with Sonia pregnant or no pregnant. Brandy doesn't feel like Princess is being disrespectful, and then Brandy and Princess get into it, and Princess calls Brandy out for doing something like going back and forth with people on Instagram all the time. And it's like, Brandy does get into Instagram beef and stuff like that. So I can understand why Princess brought that up, because Brandy was saying about being the best example to your child. And Princess was like, well, you always getting in Instagram beef, so I don't see how this is very different. And then all of a sudden, Brandy comes out with that, ever so famous excuse, well, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And and it's like, well, why don't you afford that same type of grace towards Princess? I just don't get it. Anyways, Brandy says that she doesn't want everyone in our business. Since when is your brother's marriage your business? Stay out of your little brother's marriage. Like, stop babying him. He's a grown man. Ugh. Okay. Anyway, Brandy, even though I did not like her, I feel like she's overstepping her boundaries in Ray J and Princess's marriage. I did feel like she was very grown woman about the argument with Princess, because I feel like Brandy had a point about them already being in the spotlight, and that Princess does not have to add to the negativity that they're going to face being in the spotlight by, giving them more ammunition. Now, Brandy hugs her and everything, even after Princess insults Brandy for not being able to keep a man. But Brooke and Lyrica are both at the baby shower, and unfortunately, Lyrica feels like this is the perfect time to confront Brooke about her involvement in A1 finding out about Lyrica and Safaree. Now, Brooke said that A1 wasn't giving Lyrica any, so she was flirting with Safaree. And we all know that Safaree is a flirt. But Brooke says, you slept with Safaree and you liked it. And that set Lyrica off. She threw decorations and overturned tables, and she was escorted out. Why would you do that at somebody's gender reveal? First off, I hate gender reveals. I've talked about that before, but I just hate them. Anyways, I don't know why she felt like that was the appropriate place to do. But moving on, we see A1 confronting Safaree, and A1 starts taking things out of his pocket. He starts putting his pearls away, tucking in his chain, and Safaree's demeanor is like, your girl chose me type of situation. And A1's stance is more like, you're supposed to be my friend. And A1 is about to climb over the hood of that car to get to Safaree, okay? But next time on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, the fight between A1 and Safaree continues. A1 and Lyrica's mamas get involved yet again after having like a year or a year and a half of peace in their family. Marcus and Brooke, they have their whole situation. Now, Brooke claims that she found some lumps in her breast, and I hate to make light of what they could possibly mean for her, but does anybody else feel like she's kind of full of it? I mean, the fact that she has made up in her mind that she's getting married to a guy who has not even proposed to her is a little, already crazy. And so the fact that, she's now saying that she has lumps in her breast, you don't think that's some type of ploy to get Marcus back on her side or something like that? Yeah. Um, Okay. I think that's a little weird. But moving on, we see Ray J confronting Moniece about the fashion show debacle. And then we see more Lyrica and Safari mess. Apparently, there was some inappropriate stuff going on. But from my viewpoint, I don't think they actually physically did anything. And was this before or after the incident in the blogs that they were talking about where there were girls in the studio or something with A1? I don't know. I'm confused about the timeline. But that's all, you guys. I don't have any more to give you. I'm not feeling it today. So thank you guys for watching and peace out, home slices.